Alright, let's talk about it. So this is an introduction to telepathy, and something that I've just recently remembered through the eternal memory, or the Akash, and I'm bringing this forth now. So before I start, it's interesting that before you're about to expand or bring something forth, whether that's like in yourself or you know, to bring forth to other people like I'm doing now with this video, how there's a firewall, or almost like your suit, your body has like a firewall to, or some sort of egoic overlay program that kicks in to almost try to stop you from doing it, almost like it's been tampered with. So in order to speak about subjects like this and be able to tune into that aspect of the eternal memory, because this is high frequency information that's about to be presented, it's important to be in an environment that is conducive to that. So you can see that I'm out in nature right now. So when we discuss the topic of telepathy, in order to pick up on the unified field that is telepathy, it is important to start in steps of going places where you're able to cultivate that in an easier way than you would just, you know, out in the middle with a bunch of people in the city or something. You want to get out in nature where the harmonics are conducive to that happening. Okay. So this is what I term the Trinity Codex framework, okay? And hopefully you can see that. We'll just call it the Trinity Codex format. Okay? So the whole point here is learning how to work within a Lightcode of 3 units, or a triangle. Okay? So let me write that down. I've got some notes here. Basically an overview of some of the things I'm going to discuss, if my camera doesn't shut off, is initiation into working within a Trinity code framework, which is what we're discussing now, sacred guardianship over quantum time coordinates within the eternal memory or within the Akashic records. And then the third thing is initiation into your own telepathy, not only in a singular fashion, but within the framework of this Trinity Codex. Okay? So this is the basic configuration when it comes to that. And just imagine this is all equal. Imagine this is all the same. Okay? In this center point, this is the eternal memory. Okay? All these points you see here that I'm putting dots on these triangles, that means that those circuitries are activated. They are in interface with the other points of the circuit and also the eternal memory circuit. Okay? So I'll just make a key over here off to the side so you can see that while I'm drawing, so you can remind yourself or pause the video or whatever. So this key is going to be the eternal memory. Okay? This is going to be in sync. And this is going to be with no dots in it, no sync. Okay? So this first one that I'm showing you here, this is what I would call a full synchronization. This means that all 3 units within this code, surrounding this Lightcode, are aware of their egoic overlay being used as a tool, but they are detached from it. They are aware that all 3 units, which is their egoic overlay or their vessels, are conducting a vibrational frequency that is simultaneously interfacing with a program sequence to tap into or jump to a certain time coordinate in space. Okay, this is kind of quantum, so bear with me. I'm also trying to remember this and bring it through. Okay, so this is what we would call a full synchronization. A full sync. Okay. This next one I'm going to show you is what I would call a binary sync. Okay. So what we would do is we would change this, and this. So we still have our 3 points here. These points are connected, and this is the eternal memory, so these are both connected to the eternal memory. And then this is still connected to the Trinity Codex. However, this unit or this person within your framework is out of phase or phase locked. Okay? And that can be for multiple reasons. That this whole framework, when you tap into telepathy, because telepathy is not what we think it is necessarily, of being able to read people's mind, as much as it is letting go of, it's like emptying yourself and your thoughts in order to tune into an infinite realm of wisdom and knowledge of what is going on in your current simulation sequences and in other intelligence fields, other time-space coordinates that are quantumly existing, whether those be past timelines or future timelines. Okay. So this would be a binary sync. Binary sync. Okay? So, just make sure this is right. 2 of the 3 units within the Trinity are in sync, whether this is telepathic or in verbal communication. These 2 people could literally just be talking to each other. And this third person is just, out of phase, whether they're just not listening or their mind is somewhere else, but that serves a purpose. Ultimately, that you're aware that your egoic overlay is serving a purpose because you know that you are working within a Trinity framework. Okay? So the third unit is temporary phase locked or out of phase because it was not coded to the exchange of verbal communication in the other 2 units within the Trinity. Okay? The other one is 2 of the 3 units within the Trinity are in sync telepathically, and the third unit is purposely out of phase as it is telepathically picking up or tuned into another intelligence field. Okay, so while these 2 are exchanging information, verbal or telepathic or whatever that may be, this one over here is phased out because it's actually bringing through light codes or some information over here that it's going to bring forth and then once again change up the circuitry. It could change into a full sync again, or it could change to a single sync, which is what I'm going to show you in a second. It's multiple, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. This triangle sequence, okay, this Trinity sequence is constantly interchanging and simultaneously expanding and contracting its light circuitry. So even though it may seem like it's linear, let's just say you had a full sync, a bisync, a full sync, a single sync, a bisync, a full sync, a bisync, a full sync, a single sync. You know, just that sequence. What that really means, the way that the source code moves is perceived as linear, but is actually quantumly using all three syncs interchangeably and simultaneously to reach a time code or a time coordinate in space. Okay, this is quantum. So let's just say you are doing some kind of recon work, those of you who do grid work, and you're working within a Trinity codex format. Okay, this is stuff that we used to teach in Egypt, guys. This is stuff that we've taught throughout multiple timelines and multiple dimensions, you know, for eternity. This is the eternal memory. This is a code brought forth from the eternal memory, and I'm not going to go there, but anyway, this is stuff that we would bring through. So if you're doing recon work or grid work and you have three of you together, okay, and you are maybe observing or doing recon work on the time fields that have existed in a certain location, these two people could be discussing it, and because this one's not coded to that exchange, the eternal memory is moving through these three people or these three units in order to move them to a certain time-space coordinate or a time code, so that the source can override that time code and heal it. Because a lot of the timelines on this planet and other planets, you know, multiple dimensions that expand out of this planet, interdimensional, they've been compromised, or they have been, you know, these other consciousnesses that are service to self, let's just say, they have taken the timelines and they have almost like torqued them or made small changes in them to where they sent out a virus into the mainframe of the eternal memory. Okay, so what Source is doing is going back and changing what has happened. And the eternal memory, or the Akashic records, which is another word for it, I feel, is just a knowing. It's a knowing. When you know, you know. And those of you who know of what I speak, you know. Those of you who are watching this video and you're thinking that this guy, what the hell is he talking about? There's a reason that you're watching this video, even if you don't understand it, because at some point in time, this will be known. The children that are being birthed today, the children that are coming forth, they're coming in more awake than we did when we came in, guys. They're able to hold their consciousness for longer because the energetic shifts of the planet are changing and supporting that to come through. Alright? The eternal memory, like I was saying, is what moves through these three units interchangeably at any time. So whenever you have, like I said, these two dots here, that's the eternal memory moving through them, but also moving through this. It's just working at different circuitries in order to reach this time code. So even though that this is the eternal memory, this is also the time-space coordinate that you are trying to reach. So let's just say, let's just say you're in Egypt or Machu Picchu in Peru, and you're trying to reach a certain time-space coordinate. You would all three first of all, it's not even about free will. It has nothing to do with let's tune into this. It's more like our steps are guided beyond the events that are unfolding in our lives, are being orchestrated beyond what we are able to see with this biochemical computer that we call our brain in this body. The source code the eternal memory is moving through all of us who are aligning to this and emptying ourselves and allowing ourselves to be used as some of the work that is moving through on this planet. And so your steps are guided. And so all the thoughts and ideas and things like this, all the telepathic way that you're tuning into this unified field, that's all done through emptying yourself, and then the eternal memory or the Akashic records will move through you to heal time-space coordinates within different codex formats, okay? And this is just within a trinity. This is just within a triangle. You know, imagine what you could do when you have even bigger geometries than a triangle. Imagine what you could do when you have like a, you know, like a square or a Merkaba. Imagine what you could do when you had a Merkaba or a 12 tree grid. You know, the universal tree of life geometry. That's 12. So there's multiple applications for this, but this is just one of many. All right. If my voice is shaking, it's because it is freezing cold out here, but this is supposed to be brought forth, so I'm doing it to the best of my ability. Some of you out here may know a lot more about this than I do, but this is something that I'm being shown to bring forth at this time to help others, so that maybe this will spark inside of you the memory that you already know this. You already know this, but you watching this video right now is a simulation sequence that's moving into your hologram to awaken this with you and catalyze these codes within you and spark within you codes that maybe I don't know. So that's what we're all doing. We're here to help each other. Okay, so let me erase some of this. Okay, then we're going to go into a single sync next. We did the full sync and we did the binary sync. Now we're going to do the single sync. Alright, so this is going to be the single sync. Once again, we have our 3, 1, 2, 3. Only one of these is going to be connected to the eternal memory consciously. The other 2 are connected to the eternal memory, but they are an egoic overlay for whatever reason, and it does serve a purpose. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. It does serve a purpose. So this one would be connected, okay? And we'd light this up because this one is in sync, this one is in interface with what is going on within the framework. So these other 2 would be out of sync. They might be an egoic overlay, or they might be phasing out, like we were saying earlier, to tap into another intelligence field to bring that forth and bring it back into the circuitry so it continues its quantum rotation and configuration to reach that time code that is being overridden and healed and restored and rehabilitated back to 0 point, bringing it back to the 0 point. Okay? Okay. Alright. So, single sync. That's what this is. Alright. So only one of the 3 units are online with the source code or eternal memory. The other 2 units are in egoic overlays, but are also super consciously aware of this and its function within the Trinity Codex format. The singular unit is the aspect of source in that moment. Okay? Alright. So guys, if this is speaking to you, you feel a resonance with what I'm saying, There are those out there that say don't listen to resonance. Resonance is bullshit. Resonance is not bullshit, guys. Resonance is what is within your DNA, that when you hear what I'm speaking to you and it triggers something inside of you, whether you're just interested in it or you have hints of remembrance of what I'm talking about. It is speaking to you on a level that is sometimes very subtle, but also sometimes very loud, like, hey, pay attention to this. There's a reason that you're being shown this right now. And that has to do with your DNA. That has to do with your DNA codes, because we all carry specific DNA keys. I guess I should say key codes. We all have different DNA access based on, you know, the light levels or the light exchange that our soul aspect carries, that light fractioned aspect that is awakening within this body as we interface more with harmonies of light. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I'll erase that in a second. So once again, I just want to go over it, okay? Let's just say you have a full sync, so I'm just going to use the black as being in full sync, okay? So you'd have all three of these connected. Then let's just say after that, and this could be, what this could mean is that all three of you are aware that, hey, there's something going on here. We're all being shown something powerful that we need to pay attention to. Okay, we're understanding that this is a purpose. We have a particular intention that is set into this. Whether that's restoring a time field at a particular location on the grid, or you know, there could be multiple applications for this. Okay, but let's just say you have a full sync, then you have a bi-sync. And remember this center dot, this is the eternal memory, yes, because that's what's moving through you to get to the time code. But once you reach the time code, this center dot is actually the light code. You are on the light code. And then from there, program sequence, program upgrade. I mean, it just shifts the energy, the frequency, vibration. You feel it move, and it changes you, it changes the environment around you. The photonics are out the roof. I mean, your brain is working at such a full capacity that if you're not grounded in your body, it can be a lot to handle. But your brain, I mean, you are just so telepathically connected with everything that's going on around you. You're telepathically in tune with everything that your people are thinking. You know everything that they're thinking, they know everything you're thinking, because the same source code is moving through all three of you, and you are being used as a conduit for a restoration of a time field, a time code, and a very specific time code, because this is not, you know, it's not something that just happens. They're very significant events in time. That's why the source is being that's why the source code is moving through, because there are very particular events that need to be restored. You know, and my partner, she brought this through as well. Since time is not real and time is not linear, it's quantum, then when we want to travel in a to a physical location, we're actually moving, or we're going to that physical location because there is a quantum time coordinate. How did she describe this? I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm tuning into my knowing of it, my remembrance of it. This is the eternal memory that moves through. This is also what you carry within you. Okay? This is beyond belief system. This has nothing to do with belief system. This is pure truth that moves through. And based on your resonance, you're either going to remember it to be true, or it is subtly speaking to you now and triggering you that maybe you're completely backing away from this and you have no resonance whatsoever. The fact that you're so triggered by it is actually showing that it's prominent in your consciousness for some reason, or you wouldn't be watching the video this far. But when we go to these certain places, sometimes the geographic location or certain types of these geomantic structures hold DNA codes that are specifically coded to individual souls who also have that same code to that structure because they had been there in a past timeline or a quantum time coordinate related to that geomantic structure, such as a pyramid. Okay, think Egypt. All these pyramids that are popping up all over the place. You know, a lot of this ancient technology is coming back, guys. Our understanding and remembrance of what we used to use these for. Okay? You remember. You remember. I remember. We are remembering. The eternal memory is healing the time-space fields on this planet. We are healing multiple timelines throughout all time and space and dimensions that far span this planet. We are doing great work here, and I am truly honored that I am able to bring this forth to you, this remembrance to you, because I cannot teach you anything. You already know this. But right now, Source, or the eternal memory, is moving through this vessel to bring this forth, because this is what you needed to hear at this point in time. I am honored to be able to be this. I'm grateful. Iatana uamaka I uru ushataane liaro ushamaka iti ishina maulutu uvama ti simiaka nuaru liakana uasa itikinka utunka itkinsha nuku uti iki anakika uru ushataina muasta tiana kua rualatitishna Ruamaka liaru shianaka maniatu usutuma sima. Okay. Thank you. If you're interested in some of the products that I have, I mine and sell quartz crystals here in the Quartz Crystal Vortex of Arkansas. 180-mile wide vortex of some of the highest quality quartz on the planet. This is an ancient library and ancient archives here, and I am grateful to be here. I have a purpose being here, and I'm grateful to do this work here. So if you feel a resonance towards the words that I speak, if you feel a resonance towards these crystals, I have an online shop on Etsy. You can find that at Crystal Code Archives. I'm also on Instagram as Raw L Melchizedek, and there's a link to the Crystal Etsy page on that. So with that, I leave you with this, and thank you. Blessings.